Hey traders, first of all, Merry Christmas. I hope you all had a great year this year, despite the COVID madness, and that next year is even better for you. And I hope you all enjoy this holiday break coming up. Personally, I've been taking the past few weeks off to focus on preparing for next year. I've been busy analyzing my trading and investment results from this year, as well as heavily backtesting new trading ideas and deciding how to improve and move forward next year. I have big things in mind for both my own trading and for this YouTube channel. I want to take everything to the next level in 2021. And on that note, I want to thank you all for supporting my channel and following my work. I never expected my channel to grow so quickly, but I'm extremely grateful for your time and attention. I truly hope I've been able to help you in your Pine coding and trading journeys. And to celebrate a successful year of this channel and my Pine Script Mastery course, I'm going to do a free giveaway of my Pine Script Mastery course at the end of this video, as a present to you guys for supporting this channel throughout 2020. So stick around for that if you're interested. But for now, I thought it would be nice to end the year with a fun Pine Script video. So today's lesson is going to be very different to the usual. Rather than show you how to make a practical script, I'm going to show you how to make your charts look like a 5-year-old's Christmas drawing using Pine Script. Now, this lesson won't be practical in any sense of the word, but we'll cover a few obscure functionalities of Pine that I've never covered before on this channel. So I'm sure you'll still learn something of value to implement into your real scripts. So let's get started. So here we are with a blank script. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a couple of EMAs. And we're going to use these EMAs later on in the script. So just get some MAs. We're going to get the first EMA is going to be an EMA, the price, source of close, and a length of 50. The second EMA is going to be the same source, but a length of 100. And then we're going to draw these EMAs to the chart straight up. So I always like to comment what I'm doing, even if it's simple and obvious. So we're plotting EMA 1, and the color for this one is going to be, is the current closing price above EMA 1? If so, set the color to color.green. Otherwise, set it to red. Now obviously there's going to be a lot of green and red in this script today. We're going to set the line width to 2 for this to make it a little bit thicker. I'm going to copy this line of code, and we're going to now draw the EMA 2. But this time we're going to check, is the EMA 2 above our EMA 1? And if so, then we're going to color it green. Otherwise, we're going to color it red. So I'm going to set the line width of this plot to 3 and get rid of our default plot of the closing price here, this little blue line. Now if I save the script, we'll have 2 EMAs plotting to the chart. The thinner EMA is a 50 EMA and the thicker one is a 100 EMA. Now if price is below the 50, then the 50 turns red. If price is above the 50 turns green. As for our second EMA, the 100 EMA, normally you would color this red if it was below, if the 50 EMA was below it, but because we're going with Christmas colored themes here, I wanted to have red and green on my chart at all times. So instead, when the 50 EMA is below the 100 is turning green. And then when the 50 EMA is above the 100 EMA, the 100 EMA turns red. So far, so good. The next thing I want to do, and this is a weird one, I've never ever had any reason to do what we're about to do next, but we're going to draw Christmas trees on peaks of price action. So whenever price action makes a fractal high, we're going to draw a Christmas tree. And then once we've drawn a tree, we're going to wait for price action to sell off. And once we get a higher close candle, then we're going to draw a present underneath that bar. So bear with me. There's a bit of, actually, believe it or not, there's a bit of code involved in this. So let's get started. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to declare our drawing booleans. We need 3 booleans here. We need a VAR variable. Now a VAR variable, I'm not sure if I've covered this yet on YouTube, but it's basically a persistent variable. And what that means is whatever we set this to, the value will be saved across all the bars on our chart. So normally, if you don't have this VAR variable operator in front of your variable declaration, then the variable will reset on every new bar. So if we were to set this to true later on in the script, on the next bar that prints onto our chart, it would be set back to false. By turning it into a VAR variable, the value of this boolean is saved across all the bars on our chart. So if we were to set this to true, on the current bar, then on the next bar it'll also be true, and so on. You get the idea. And this is our drew tree flag. So if we have already drawn a tree, then this boolean is going to be used to detect or to tell the script to start searching for where to draw the present. So the next variable we are going to declare is called tree price. And this is where this is the price that we drew our tree at, because we don't want to draw presents above the tree, because that doesn't make sense. Not that any of this script makes sense, but we don't want to draw our presents above our Christmas trees. We want to only draw them below. So that's what this variable is going to be used for. And then finally, we need our draw present boolean. Now this is not a VAR variable because we want this boolean to reset on every new bar on our chart. So there's our 3 drawing booleans. We need these to inform the script on what to draw and when. The next thing we need to do is detect our fractal swing highs so that we can draw Christmas trees above them. So here, detect fractal highs. And a fractal high, if you're unaware, is just a candle that makes a high, like here, and each bar on either side of it has a lower high than the swing high. Now we're going to keep things simple in this script, so it's not going to be 100% accurate in that it's going to also detect candles like this as a fractal swing high. Technically speaking, you can probably add more checks to this script to improve the accuracy of the fractal high detection, but you know, this is a Christmas script, so we're not going into too much sophistication here. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. So in this case, we're going to define a fractal high as a candle whose previous high is higher than the current high, and the previous high was higher than the high before that. So using this candle as an example, what this script is going to do, or what this boolean is going to detect, it's going to check on this bar here. It's going to check, was the previous bar higher than this current bar, and was the previous bar higher than the bar before that. If that's true, then we have basically a peak in price action. Now this is a very rudimentary way to detect this sort of price action pattern. There's a lot of things we could do to improve the accuracy of this detection, but today we're just going to keep it simple. So that'll do for now. The next thing we're going to do is determine if we should draw a tree on this high. And to do that, I'm going to create a new boolean called draw tree, just a regular boolean, not a VAR boolean. And this is going to be set to, do we have a fractal high detected? And was that fractal high equal to the highest high over the past 50 bars? And did we not already draw a tree? Remember, this drew tree boolean is a VAR variable. So after we draw a tree, we're going to set drew tree to true, and then the script will not draw any more trees until drew tree is set to false, and drew tree is only going to be set to false after we draw a present. So that'll make sense in a second. Let's write out the code for that. So the next section of code is going to say, if draw tree is true, then set our drew tree persistent variable flag to true. So if we are drawing a tree, then we want to set drew tree to true, and we want to set our tree price to the current closing price. Or actually, we could set this to the high, the current high of the candle. So we don't want a present drawing any higher than the high of this swing high we've detected. So after doing that, we need to check, after drawing a tree, next time we detect a higher close, draw a present and reset our variables. So for this, we're going to say if drew tree and close is greater than or equal to the previous bar's high, then we have a bar that closed higher than the previous bar. And if we've already drawn a tree, then now we want to draw the present. So we're going to set draw present is set to, is the current closing price of our bar less than the price we drew our tree at? If so, then we want to set draw present to true. Otherwise, we want to set it to false. And then we need to reset our drew tree boolean to false. So now all that's left to do is draw our Christmas trees and our presents. So to do that, we're going to use the Plotchar function. Now, we've definitely never covered this before on YouTube because it's quite an obscure function that is rarely practically useful in your scripts. But what this does is it just plots a single character onto your chart, and it can be any character. So we can use like little emoticons and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do today. For this first one, we're going to say, do we want to draw our tree? Is draw tree set to true? If it is, then we want to plot the character, and let me copy and paste this tree icon in there. We want to draw that tree icon onto our chart. I want to title this just tree. We want to give it an offset of -1 because remember our swing highs are only detected after they've occurred. So we don't want to draw the Christmas tree above the bar that confirms that it's a swing high. We want to draw it above the actual high. So we're going to set offset to -1, and that'll push the tree back 1 bar. So let's quickly save the script and make sure that that's working. And there we go. We're getting Christmas trees drawing above swing highs on our chart. Yeah, this is happening. Next up, we're going to draw our presents. So Plotchar is going to be draw present. If draw present is true, then we want to draw a Christmas present. We're going to set the title to present and the offset also to -1. And then the final thing we need to do is set the location to location.below bar. So by default, these characters will draw above bar. So on our first plot, we don't need to specify which location to draw it on, but on the present, we want that to draw below the bar. So we need to tell Pine Script to override the default setting for this function. So now if we save the script, we'll be getting Christmas presents drawing below swing lows after the detection of a swing high. So we're detecting a swing high, drawing a tree, waiting for price action to reverse, in this case with a higher close, a candle that closes higher than the previous candle. That's normally in a situation like this where a swing high is made and then a pullback occurs, a higher close candle is often a pretty decent reversal sign of confirmation that the pullback might be over. So that's the theory behind this ridiculous script, but so far so good. And just quickly, I'm going to turn off the lines in the background because I want my background to be just flat white. All right, so that's the bulk of our script done right now. For some reason, I decided that this wasn't enough and I wanted to also draw some cookie and milk onto the chart. So let's do that now. I'm going to make some more space here. The next comment's going to say draw milk and cookies whenever the EMAs cross. So to do that, I'm going to create 2 new Boolean variables here, draw milk and draw cookie. Draw milk is going to be set to, did the EMA1 cross under our EMA2? And for that, we use the inbuilt cross under function. This will return true if EMA1 or our 50 EMA crosses under our 100 EMA. And for our draw cookie, that's going to be the opposite. We want to detect if our EMA1 crosses over our EMA2. So if the 50 EMA crosses over, the 100 EMA will draw a cookie. If it crosses under the 100 EMA, we'll draw milk. This is some very technical and sophisticated Pine coding that we're doing right now. So next thing we need to do is plot the milk and cookie characters. So we're going to use Plotchar again. And for this one, we're going to say, is draw milk true? If it is, we want to plot the character or symbol of a glass of milk. I'm going to title this milk. And I'm going to set the location to location.top. So this will draw to the top of our chart. This isn't above bar. Above bar and below bar is different to top and bottom. Top means the top of my chart. Bottom means the bottom of my actual chart window. So we can copy this line of code here, paste it in there, change this to draw cookie, change our symbol or character to a cookie emoticon, change our title to cookie, and change our location to bottom. So now if I save the script, we'll be getting cookies and milk drawing onto our charts whenever the EMAs cross. But we're not done yet. I wanted to go another step further and also draw snowflakes onto the chart. So let's do that next. Here we're going to say draw alternating snowflakes, but don't draw them over our trees and presents. So for this, we're going to use the Plotchar function again. This is for plotting snowflakes above every bar on our chart. We're going to plot them on every second bar on our chart, and we want the snowflakes above the bar, but we don't want them drawing over the top of our trees. So we're going to say not draw tree and bar index, and then we're going to use the modulo symbol or operator, which is a percentage sign, and then 2, and then not equal 0. So if you're new to Pine Script, this is going to look very confusing to you. But what this symbol does is it divides this number, whatever this number is, by 2, and then returns the remainder of that division. So bar index is just the number of the bar on your chart. So if you go all the way back to the left, to the very first bar on your chart, bar underscore index will be 0 for that bar. And on the very last bar on the right of your chart, the current bar, it'll be quite a high number, in the high thousands. And what we're doing here is we're checking, is the current bar an odd or even bar in relation to the first bar on the chart? So if it's the second bar on our chart, then dividing 2 by 2 will return a modulo of 0, so a remainder of 0. And then we know that that bar is an even numbered bar. And so that's an easy way, or simple way, to only draw these snowflakes on every second bar on the chart. We don't want them drawing on every single bar because it just looks a bit too much. And then we draw our CHAR as a snowflake. And that's it. If I save the script, we will now be getting snowflakes drawing on every second bar on our chart and skipping every odd bar on our chart. And it does not draw over the top of our Christmas trees. Oh, well, it shouldn't. Sorry, I forgot to set offset to -1 for these snowflakes. So I've saved the script. That's better. Now it's not drawing over the top of our Christmas trees, which is very important. As traders, we don't want cluttered charts, so let's make sure we keep this tidy. The next thing we're going to do is copy this entire line of code, change this to equals 0, and this will now detect even bars. This one's detecting odd bars. I think I said this one detects even bars earlier, but if the remainder of this operation is not equal to 0, then that means we have a odd numbered bar. For this one, if the remainder of bar index divided by 2 is equal to 0, then that means we have an even number. So we need to change this to draw present. So we don't want to draw this over the top of our presents. So we can also title these. Let's title these upper flake and lower flake. And this lower flake is going to need a location of location.below bar. Now, if I save the script, we should be getting snowflakes on the top and snowflakes on the bottom in an alternating fashion. So on even numbered bars, we're getting the snowflake on the bottom, and on odd numbered bars, they're drawing on top, and we're alternating between those two. So there we go. Now our scripts are looking very Christmassy right now, but we're not done yet. There's 2 more things I want to do with the script. I want to write Merry Christmas down the bottom here, and I also want to draw Santa in a sleigh. So let's continue with this ridiculous script. The next thing I need to do here, we're going to write Merry Christmas. And for this one, we need quite a few plots here, so I'm just going to copy and paste some that I have prepared earlier to save time here, and then I'll just explain what's going on. So let me paste this big block of code in here. So what we're doing is we're plotting characters here onto our chart. First, we're starting with Mrs. Claus, I guess, is what that is. And then we're writing out Merry Christmas. And we're using offset in order to position our letters across the chart. We're alternating between red and green colors for our text. And we're only drawing all of this on the very last bar on our chart. So bar state.isLast will only return true if the current bar is the last bar on our chart. Now the reason for this is if we drew this on every single bar on our chart, it would just be a giant mess. So we only want to draw this text once on the very last bar on our chart. So we start off with Mrs. Claus with an offset of -19, and then we write out Merry Christmas. Instead of plotting a space here, we just skip one offset, and we draw all the way up to the current bar with an offset of 0, and the final thing we draw here is a little snowman. So now if I save the script, you'll see that down here, and the cookie is drawing over the top of that a little bit. So let's just change time frame really quickly. There we go. We're getting Merry Christmas drawn onto our chart. Now finally, if I go down to a 1 minute chart, or let's go to a 5-second chart, we need to add one more thing in here, because every time a new bar prints, it's going to write out Merry Christmas all over again. So you'll see here when this bar closes, we now have this overlapping Merry Christmas text down the bottom there. So the way we fix this is by setting our VAR variable already drawn, which is checked here. So we're checking, is the current bar the last bar in our chart, and have we not already drawn this text? So if we set already drawn to bar state.isLast, then this flag will be set to true, and it'll stop drawing on the chart once we have drawn this text once. So save the script. There we go. Now when new bars print, this text just moves to the left, as you can see there. So let's drop out to, let's say, a 1 minute chart now. And we're going to do the final thing for this script. Well done if you've stuck around this long. But the final thing we're going to do here is draw a Christmas sleigh. And to do that, we are going to create a new label. So we're going to use the label.new function. And this takes a bunch of parameters, which I'll go over a few of them with you right now. The first parameter is an X location. And for this, we're just going to set it to the current bar index. The Y location or coordinate is going to be set to our EMA1, our 50 EMA. So we're going to be drawing a label right on the current bar on the actual 50 EMA. And we're going to set the text to, and here comes the magic, 8 reindeers and a Santa Claus in a sled. And we're going to set the tool tip to just say Merry Christmas. And then, because we can, we'll throw in a few more Christmas emoticons. We're going to set the Y location to yLocation.price. So we want this drawing on the current EMA price. Now there's a bunch of options here. If I delete that and press Control Space, you've got above bar and below bar. I don't want that in this particular case. I want it drawing on the actual EMA price. And then the final thing we need to do here is set the style to label.style_label_left. So we want this label pointing to the left. And when we save this script, that'll make sense in a second. And we want to set the size to size.huge. I want this label to be massive. And I also want the color to be, we're going to use a custom hex code here, custom hex color. If you're not familiar with hex color codes, they're really simple. Just Google it. And it's just a 6-digit code starting from A to F and 0 to 9. And basically these letters and numbers dictate which red, green, and blue colors to mix in order to get your actual color. So in this case, this is going to be a really light gray or dark white. And then finally, we only want to draw one of these labels. If we leave this as it is, if I save the script, we're going to get a million labels all over our chart. It's going to look ridiculous, as you can see here. So what we need to do here is delete the previous label. So if we use our historical operator here to reference the previous reindeer label, then that will leave the current label on our chart, but delete any of the previous ones. So if we save the script, we're now deleting any previous label on the chart. So when a new bar prints, this label will get deleted and a new one will be drawn on the current EMA price. And there we go. We are done. We have a very Christmassy script. And as I told you at the start, I didn't lie. This now looks like a 5-year-old is taking over our trading charts and gone crazy. But it's very festive. I have this script running on all my monitors in my kitchen. So I'm not a big Christmas lights guy or anything like that. So this is my version of participating in the Christmas spirit. So the final thing I'm going to do, one last thing here, I'm going to change the bar color. I'm going to alternate bar color. And to do that, I'm going to use the Barcolor function. We're going to use the same modulo method we used here to determine if the current bar is an even bar. So I'm going to paste that in there. Question mark. If this condition is true, then we want to set the color to green. Otherwise, we want to set the color to red. And basically what this is going to do, if I save the script, it's going to change our colors of our bars from red to green, alternating regardless of whether the candle is bullish or bearish. So now it's looking extremely Christmassy, and I believe we are done. We've accomplished what we set out to in the beginning, and that's it. I hope you found this lesson somewhat amusing and maybe hopefully interesting. Hopefully you learned something that you can go out and use in your actual scripts. If not, I apologize, and maybe this next part will make up for it. If you want to win free lifetime access to the Pine Script Mastery course, which is currently worth $500 US, if you want to win access to 14 hours, 84 lessons that go into great detail about Pine Script, all you have to do is just comment underneath this video with your TradingView username. And on the 1st of January, I'm going to use a tool that picks a random YouTube comment from this video. And whoever's TradingView name comes up, I'll message you on TradingView, get your email address, and sign you up to the Pine Script Mastery course for free. And you have lifetime access to it, to all future updates. And like I said, over 14 hours of content that will teach you far more practical applications of this programming language. I promise. There's nothing silly in this course, unlike today's lesson. But anyway, this lesson has gone on long enough. I'll leave it there. I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas, a great new year. I can't wait to come back next year. I'm going to be expanding the YouTube channel, focusing on a lot more things than just Pine Script. I have a lot of things in mind. There's a few other courses I want to create covering backtesting and just general trading concepts. Teach anyone who's interested what's working for me in my own trading. But that's it for now. Take care, everyone. Be safe throughout this holiday period, and I hope you enjoy time with your family, and best of luck with your trading next year. I'll see you in 2021. Take care, guys. Goodbye.